I am so excited to introduce Matthew Sallee. Matt is the Vice President of Sales for a company called Motili. You know what I so admire about Matt is that even with this crazy, chaotic, and ever-changing schedule right now in the midst of a pandemic, Matt decided to do something different, to take action, to create hope. So here is Matt's story. Yeah, people are so scared right now. They're running in all different areas. Their entire lives have changed, and instead of being scared, I kept thinking, well, what's the opposite, right? How do we give hope? And I go back to Gandhi, and he talks about being the change that we want to see in the world. And so I started to think about, really what hope is, and so I thought, well, instead of just all the stuff that's happening right now, how do we change the message? And so I thought, well, I could interview people and I could get stories out there and hopefully inspire other people in this time to, as we are hope, is to be hope. And so as I was doing that, and then your story pops up and you tell the Bold team what you're doing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're going to be my first interviewee.
Yeah.
So this is truly just, an organic state.
Yep.
I'm so inspired by you, inspired by, I had the opportunity to get to know you at Bold over 3 days.
Yeah.
And just to watch just this hunger and this curiosity and this fire that just was stoked in you.
Yep.
To, and and I always say, we walk off the mountain and we talked about this. That was a different class because usually I get to leave on Thursday, take my sidekick out to dinner, but it was snowing, it was icy, and I couldn't leave. So I had no cell service, no Wi-Fi, none of us did. And we knew that going into when we left Bold that everything would change. And everything changed, and then everything changed, and then everything changed.
Yep, for
sure.
So
when you left Bold, going down that mountaintop on the Bold High, and then getting into ping, 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 what was going through your mind?
It was really stark contrast. That night, whatever that was, Thursday night, I had a dream at Bold that all the flights in the US were canceled, and I had to drive my rental car back to Denver, and I had no idea what was going on. My wife works for a utility, and being not able to chat with her and understanding what's going on was really, really challenging at that time, because she was entering panic mode as I was landing in California. And so that part was really difficult. So literally I rounded a bend going down the mountain and pulled over as soon as I had service and let my phone hit me. And it was insane. I mean, and not so much like work insane, but just you could every message was panic. Every message was fear. Every message was like this really intense, like complete opposite of what we had gone through. And it was really difficult to see. And I even messaged one of my friends on Instagram, who's particularly sort of spiritual and connected and positive and motivating. And I said, what the hell's going on, Sarah? And she said, well, you have to find what you can do to, make it better. And I started with like helping my team and helping the company and doing that, but that didn't feel like enough. And then one of my friends reached out to me and they said, hey, we're doing this thing and maybe Denver would be interested in doing it. And it just like, I couldn't let it go. I couldn't not think about it. And finally I just said, you know what, I'm setting it up. And I say finally, I mean, it was like 6 hours after I'd heard about it. It was like, no, I'm just doing this and we're just going to figure it out. And I just decided to just jump into it with both feet and just go and not be afraid of all the unknowns, not be afraid of the tax man, not be afraid of all these different things. Cause like, I mean, I don't have a 501(c), right? Like, I mean, I'm gonna have to pay taxes on all this stuff, but whatever, like, it just is what it is. it just has to be done because it makes me, like you just said, it makes me feel like I'm coping more effectively. It makes me feel like I'm more in control. And I was even telling Morris that it's been really weird feeling, because she called me out. I mean, I sat next to her the whole time. So she was continuously calling me out in the scenes and behind the scenes at class of like not connecting to my emotions. Like she kept saying, you know, you're like, you said the right thing, but you're not connected. And what I've really felt coming out of Bold is like, I am connecting now. And it's really scary, Mary, because when I feel this passion and intensity, my feet move almost without me. And I feel like that's what happened here is like, I just went, and it just like took a hold of me, and it was like, there was no not doing it. It just, I don't know. It was really strange. It's really unusual. So new territory for me for sure.
So tell us exactly what it is that you're doing. And then I know Friday was the launch.
Yep. So we're connecting restaurants here in Denver that have takeout and delivery menus directly with donors and with frontline staff at local area hospitals, so that, you know, $1 of donation connects both a restaurant and a hospital with some things that they need. A lot of the hospital cafeterias are shut down or on very partial service. So not only do we have ICU people, you know, working their tails off to keep people safe, but they can't even get food on these tremendously long shifts. So it really kind of helps twice is the idea. And what I'm trying to do is establish the marketing so that donors just order from the restaurant, and then the restaurant delivers to the hospital, and I'm not involved in it other than just spreading the word and getting the word out. It's just become sort of a grassroots campaign. So we did the one pizza delivery, the first one last week with Pizzeria Locale and Denver Health. We delivered 200 meals, which was 100 pizzas to Denver Health. We've already keyed up, I think 50 or 70, somewhere in there, 50 to 70 sandwiches from a restaurant called Beckon on Wednesday this week that's going to St. Joseph. And I think we're also going to be able to do another Milk Market, which is a restaurant here that Motili goes to a lot, sandwiches over to UC Health, University of Colorado campus. Plus, Pizzeria Locale has been marketing, and they said they've been getting some orders in for this Friday, Pizza Friday at Denver Health. So we're starting to sort of see the waterline rise. So that's pretty exciting to see.
When you sent over on Friday what was happening, and then actually Kirill sent something on his own Bold Facebook page, I literally started crying. Like, oh my God, you know, because it's the concept of paying it forward.
Yeah.
And you know, that movie, you know, Pay It Forward, you take 3 people and you do one nice thing, and those 3 people do something, and those 3 people, and it's just this ripple effect.
Yeah.
And it's the same within, it calms the chaos.
Yeah.
Because I believe so strongly that people, they need stability. They need to know, they need to get their hands around something that, and creating hope creates stability.
Yeah.
It takes the focus off of I and the survive mentality into it, like unlocks the abundance, the thrive mentality. And it's just like this ripple effect. I always say you can't outgive the giver. Like you can't outgive. And it's not just to give to receive. It's like this, it's like magic happens. You give and it's just like, it just grows.
Yeah.
And I am so inspired. Like I'm so inspired.
So we're kind of seeing that, and it's really cool. And then Motili decided to start and I just got off a call with that, decided to start a Motili Cares program, because they're going to do weekly matches, weekly donations and matches for their own Cares program. But that's going to be extended now to our other offices and to not just medical professions, but also Motili people that need help. So if we've got someone in the Motili family that, you know, their spouse lost their job and they need some assistance of some sort, then, there's something we can do. And so it's gonna start a movement inside the company that I work for too. Just we already had a community team, but it's sort of putting it under a masthead and under a thing that we can sort of run beyond this, moment in time of COVID, and really turn into, whatever the situation is that we've got to face as a community, we can sort of put it under that banner and keep the positivity alive.
Well, we talk about in bold the analogy of the 3%, right? It's been said that 3% of any given population creates critical mass. And when critical mass happens, it's a shift and change takes place. And we're all part of the 3%. Yep. And Matt, you got to see not only you being part of the 3% and with DenCares, and now it's this ripple effect. Motili's taking off, and as a result, other people are taking off, and people are raising their hand going, how can I get involved, and what else can I do? And it really is a movement, and it goes back to one person. Like one person makes a difference. And we do it whether it's negative or positive, and and to know that, hey, we have a choice, and as we said, today is day one. We can't change yesterday. We have no idea what the future holds. But today is day one. Today we get to do something, and you're doing that.
Yeah. It's really been something. It's really been interesting. I've always been able to pick up my feet and move, and motivate others in some form or fashion. But I don't know. This is different. This is connected to a deeper emotion. And like I said, it almost has a life of its own. It's almost driving me at this point. It's really strange. It's completely flipped. And I attribute a lot of that to bold, of just waking up that side that was sort of blind.
Well, and it's I say there's nothing more powerful than that human soul on fire.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the human soul is on fire, and it's driven by passion. And when we get out of our own way, and it's not about us, it truly is about something bigger. It does create a life of its own.
Yeah, for sure.
Stop it. Like it's like a flywheel, right?
No, it's been really weird. I mean, I even told Morris, I was like, what the hell do I do? Like, okay, action's connected to emotion. Thank you for the advice. Now I'm freaking out because I've not been here before, and it has a life of its own. And she said, keep going and bring your wife to the party. And I did. And then Carrie said, oh, I'm going to take this to my work, and we're going to communicate it. And they did that. So I've got a call later this week with Excel Energy on, what they can do to be part of this too. So it definitely is that. It's just completely like mushroomed, and it's been together like 8 days.
So crazy.
It's ridiculous.
So yesterday I had all these crazy thoughts. Like my mind has just been going nonstop as well. And I started researching what happened, what ideas, what inventions were created like through adversity, like through World War I, World War II, the Great Depression, even when people are in jail, in slavery. And there's so many crazy things that come out, but it's our mindset. And so how would people get involved with what you're doing? How could they continue, whether it's their own pod, so to speak, or come alongside of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just to see where you can help. What I've noticed in Denver is there's a lot of programs like this, just with different names. So even if the city that you live in, just look and see if there's, people connecting restaurants with hospitals. And even if there's not, it's just as simple as calling the hospital and saying, where can I donate food? And they say to the front line, and they tell you the name and the number. And then you just call your favorite restaurant and say, hey, I want to place an order and have it delivered. It's no big deal. There's just a website and a logo attached to mine, but that's really all it is. It's really simple. So it's just finding the people who are, helping and helping them.
Well, and it's not that we all have to be connected to the same thing. We just get to do our part.
Exactly.
And, whatever our gift is, whatever our passion is, whatever our ideas are, it's like you said, act. Just act. Yep. And in the acting is the learning. And last week is going to look different from this week, and next week will look different from, this week, because we learn as we go. But if we don't do anything, we don't do anything.
Exactly.
Well, I'm so inspired. So inspired.
Thank you.
Can't wait to continue to see where this is at, where it goes. And I know that
I'm blaming you.
I believe too that I believe, it's going to be different. We're going to come out of this. We are going to come out of it, and we're going to learn, and it's going to be different. And whatever different looks like, we get to choose. Yeah, and I honestly don't believe that we need to live in fear or the connection is lost. The connection is different. Yeah. And what I'm seeing is people they're connecting in ways that they hadn't done before. It's like we all got to reset.
Correct.
And it's like, all right, so life is saying, so what's the most important thing right now? Slow down.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So this is your day one.
Yep.
What are you doing today in your day one?
Sure is. Well, today my wife and I are going to work out together at lunch, which is going to be great. And with this, with the Motili Cares and DenCares, I've put it into the hands of one of my people to take the lead with Motili, and he's super fired up this morning because this milk market contribution is gonna directly benefit the hospital that his wife works at. So he's super, or not his wife, sorry, his significant other, but he's super jazzed to get that rolling and see what we can do. And so I think this week we're probably going to have 3 donations to 3 different restaurants and 3 different hospitals, whereas last week we just had 1.
It's the ripple.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and you can't stop it. That's what I love about it. Like, you can't stop.
No, it's completely, I was even telling the team on Friday, it's completely gotten a life of its own. I mean, I was so blown away by the contributions from Motili that, like, I just felt like I had to put it in the hands of them to run that side, because it became bigger than me that quickly. They were so invested in helping that I was getting in the way, so I had to hand it over. So,
oh, you got to delegate. You got to let go.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah, no, I worked on that one a long time ago, so right. I got no problem giving work away.
But, isn't that amazing though? So you don't have to do it all yourself. And that's for all of us, right? We have to do our part. You step up and take action, and then we get to empower other people to do it as well. Yeah. And be like, and it doesn't need to be our way. It doesn't need to be our idea.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And now it's going to take a life of its own, and it's going to go in the right direction. I mean, it's already gone to, we're going to order from this pizza shop in New York that, the office always orders from, and then one person in our office has some family that's at the hospital that's going to get the donation. So there's just, there's just things that make it come alive in a new way that are really exciting to see.
So if you could get a message out today, what would your message be? Just help.
Just help. Just find a way to help and do it. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Just help. Whatever you can do in your world, just help. That's it. Absolutely. That's what we need.
Well, thank you.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Mary. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Take care out there, and talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
All right.